Hey everybody, thank you for joining us, stay-at-home mom version on MomSimply. And I'm with Kristen, my friend Kristen.
Hey.
So Kristen, first Kristen was helping me. So this whole social media world is very new that I'm trying to navigate. And Kristen, I feel like I just got really good knowledge on how to make my page not annoying and spammy.
Hopefully.
Which is really, really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And Kristen and I know each other because both of our husbands used to be in the world of accounting. They were both CPAs. And that kind of ties into like the whole stay-at-mom thing, because with tax season, their hours were exhausting. Monday through Saturday, from January to April 15th, they're getting home at like 8, 9 o'clock.
Right, and that's a normal day.
It was a normal day. It's a really good time. So, just so everyone can learn about you.
Okay.
Just like, what do you do now? How many kiddos do you have?
So, I'm obviously a stay-home mom, and I have 2 boys, the same age, like nearly to the month, right, as your girls. So, I think Autumn's, a month and a half older than Charlie?
She's November.
Okay, so Charlie's December 5th.
Okay, so 3-year-old.
Yeah.
Newly 3.
Yep, newly 3. For sure 3. And then Leo is almost 1. Morgan is 10 months now.
Yeah.
And what's today, the 2nd? So in 2 days, Leo will be 11 months.
Isn't that so?
It's,
do you feel like your number 2 went by way quicker?
Yeah. Because you're dealing with the big one.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's like this ridiculous game every day of, don't miss out on their first year and then survive the other one. But, turns out 2 wasn't so bad.
No.
Because 3 is...
It's a whole new game.
It's a whole, new world.
Because they're so independent and you want to, embrace the whole independent side of things. But and especially with their age, too. Is Leo pulling himself up at all yet?
Yeah.
So everything's in reach.
Everything.
Everything's in the mouth.
Yeah, we have a convertible swing that turns into a toddler rocking chair. So it's off the frame now because even my niece, they like to play in it.
Okay.
So it was sitting on top of our Lego table the other day, which is coffee table height.
Okay.
And I obviously turned around. Duh, don't do that. And he pulled himself up on it and nearly pulled it down on top of himself today. He wouldn't have been terribly damaged anyways, but it was, he pulls himself up on everything, and everything is now in extra danger.
Turn around sometimes, right. Because heaven forbid you're like Autumn's thing.
Let me throw this in the garbage.
Yeah, exactly. Let me wash my hands because there's feces on it. I know.
Yeah.
Morgan's thing is everything's edible, and it's every morning, and I do a whole vacuum of the whole downstairs. I'm I got everything, and she'll find the one damn feather underneath said toy that she's
under the edge of the couch, the one corner that you didn't move or something. Yeah,
for sure.
Our rabbit is in the office side of the playroom,
a legit bunny.
Yeah, we have a bunny.
Okay,
His
that's
name's
awesome.
Bro. His name's Bro. He's Bro the bunny.
Does he come out and hop and stuff?
He does, yeah. If we let him out, he does. And then, funny story. But Leo always, he'll go and pick up, the bunny chips. And he runs around and he kicks the chips out of the cage. And he, picks them up. So if I miss one or, I don't vacuum that day because the world happened.
Yeah.
They're some of his favorite things to try and eat, which is kind of disgusting.
Well, it's a bunny.
Right. Yeah, but
they're kind of
It's it's in their cage.
Yeah.
It's their bedding and they're soft. But
are bunnies supposed to be that smart of creatures? I mean, they're cute.
I don't know, but they're I don't know. They're just really cute, and they're...
Is he docile? Can they hold him?
He loves to be, pet, and he's very happy.
That's probably a very easy pet.
Yeah. They're not too bad.
Anyone who has a dog, by the way, cheers to you with children, because from what I've heard, dogs are way more demanding than babies and toddlers. Way more demanding.
Maybe not more, but they're equally as
Well, just
demanding.
even going outside this time of year to go to the bathroom. I can't imagine that. Or having them go for walks while it's freezing.
Yeah. Well, Lincoln doesn't get to... We have a dog, a cat, and a rabbit. So,
Can I have your wine glass? Because cheers to you for that. Go mama.
But, I mean, Lincoln doesn't like to stay out very long because he's a people dog.
Okay.
So he gets really, like, neurotic if he's not given enough attention.
Of course.
But also if he
needy.
doesn't spend enough energy. Right. But, so he'll go out even on, whether it's 90 degrees, 60 degrees, negative 14 degrees, he's out for, like, 3.5 minutes, and then he's barking at the door to come back in. But, like, yesterday I got the floor all, like, cleaned up. Like, I even, like, had a towel, and I washed the junk. Just, like, you get sticky crap on the kitchen floor. I, like, washed the floor off. Don't I dumbly, I let the dog in, and he runs through the house. Lincoln.
I know.
Why did I do that?
I know.
But,
and then you sometimes wonder, is it worth cleaning? I know.
Not before it dried.
No, not even close.
Yeah. And then you forget about it, which to be honest, I don't think I ever went back and did it. I did sweep today. Maybe that's why there was more dirt on the floor than I expected.
Well, good. I know. I did a cleaning today. One, because you were coming over. Let's be honest.
We all do.
And then, like the quick, there's a guest
Throw
coming.
it in the
have
other
to
room. Yeah.
look like I'm fake, have things going on. Her dog and cat, Melissa says her dog and cat drive her more crazy than the 2-year-old. That's what I mean. Animals are very exhausting.
They're nuts.
And Missy's going to be coming next week. We're going to be talking boobs, breastfeeding. Today we're talking stay-at-home mom life. So, when you're newly stay-at-home, so you kind of were stay-at-home, you did the work thing, and now you're stay-at-home again, right?
No, okay. So, we're both teachers.
Right.
Teachers by trade. And you stayed home once Autumn was born, right? You didn't go back after Autumn was born.
I did kind of one of these things.
Yeah. So Charlie was born in December 5th. And I went back to work in February.
Okay.
Worked the rest of that school year, and then worked the next school year. And the very end of the school year, we found out about Leo. So, and that's when, so that's where the end of that was. Not because of Leo, it just happened to work out that way. It was like divine intervention.
Yeah.
But
kind of where you're supposed to be.
Exactly, yeah. Which was one of the reasons I was like, I'm just going to leave it at this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I worked basically like a school year and a half, after Charlie was born. And then since finding out about Leo, I've been home. So 9 months plus 11 months. A while enough to be in it. So we're coming up on 2 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Right? Because in June we found out at Father's Day, or like the day after, or something like that, which was kind of funny. And then 9 months later he's born, and he's now almost 11 months old. So like we're coming up, early summer, we're coming up on 2 years now of being home. So that's not really new anymore in terms of being a mom, but I mean.
How many of you that are watching are stay-at-home moms currently? That's what I'm curious about. Rachel's going to be going back to work in a month. Do you have any tips for her?
Oh my God.
Because you had to go back after Charlie, didn't you?
Right.
How old was he when you went back?
I think 8 weeks, because so he was born right before Christmas. So it was the year it was just a 2-week for Christmas break year. Just one, happened. So I
remember, because it was my same year that I was able to extend so much.
So I had my 6 weeks, and then I happened to have 2 extra. So I had 8 weeks, and then that was the year February was frigid all month long.
That whole winter was terrible. 2014 winter.
Well, 14, 15. So that February was unreal. I remember in November, before he was born, I was, you get to a point where you have nothing left to wear.
Yep.
And you're I'm walking into work. Thankfully, I didn't, work in the city where I had to park in a garage and walk to work, because I don't know what I would have done.
Who watched him?
After he was born, my best friend Katie.
Okay.
So she had, not right away. My sister had him for the rest of that school year, and then the next school year, my friend Katie had him. So she had him, and then our friend's daughter who is just a little older than Autumn.
So she had a lot on her hands. When you went into it, after seeing like a month being into it, do you think it was harder for you or Charlie based on like what your friend said in terms of his behavior?
To be working while being a mom?
Yeah, like who do you think it was harder for?
Harder on me.
Was it like that mom guilt feeling?
Yeah, and I was in a job that I already didn't love. Not like the job. It was a position that I didn't love. It wasn't. More days than not, I was crabby and frustrated and
well, I think
stressed.
This is the hard thing of a teacher too.
Yeah.
Is you have this,
teaching's
and then
not
when you
easy to begin with.
Teaching's not easy to begin with, and then secondly, when you become a mom, you have that note of I'm investing 8 hours every day with other people's kids when I could be doing that with my own kids.
And I happen to be working like deep in special ed, so certainly not to say that special ed is worse or not, but sometimes you have fewer kids. I was working in a self-contained setting, so I had kids with all sorts of different disabilities of different levels, and it was a really time-consuming position where like it got to the point where I was feeling guilty when I was at home choosing to put down unfinished work to like play with Charlie for an hour before bed, or
because teaching never ends.
Right,
I mean, all professions are hard, but teaching's
I got
really
all my tasks done, and you still weren't actually done until the end of the school year, and then you still weren't done. So, yeah, it was really rough. So I guess it would depend on what your job is that you're going back to.
She's going to be a teacher too, but she's a lead teacher, so it's a much different framework that she's not doing the lesson planning anymore. So Rachel,
teacher in what sense then? Like, is she?
Rachel's preaching at. She's in South or North Carolina, so she's started in elementary, but now she kind of leads other teachers. She's like a trainer. She does more professional development.
Okay, I gotcha. So it's a totally different animal.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah.
But it's short term because then Rachel's coming in the summer, and then she'll be home. And so that's what we're talking about, is when you make the decision when you're home and what that looks like. Because I remember growing up, I was very disillusioned about the life of a stay-at-home mom. And all of you can curse and swear at me right now because I want to swear at old me. And I remember, Kristen, like, listen to how stupid I sound.
Okay.
I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to get up every day and work out. There's no excuse. I'm always going to have makeup on. There's no excuse. And when you're in it and exhausted and the days blend in together and it feels like Groundhog's Day, it can feel so isolating. And like, I think it's very easy to fall into like a mini depression sometimes unless you actively are working on it every day.
It's almost more difficult to not be than it is to be in some level of anxious state or like depressed. Like it sounds really awful, but I think like, I don't know, for me though, I've had a really struggly, the last couple months have been a struggle for me. I don't know if it's when Charlie turned 3. I know they're definitely like overnight, if not maybe over a couple of days, he went from 2-year-old Charlie to he's 3. And I know people say lately, oh, 3 is way worse than 2. And like, you listen to it, and whether you believe it or not, that's their opinion, and that's their experience. And then you think like, okay, but are you, where are they coming from? And then how could anything be worse than the terrible 2s?
So what's been your biggest struggle, like from a day-to-day aspect? Like, what's a big struggle for you right now?
It's hard. There's a lot, and it's like
I know.
I think that just the isolation. I think So like a personal struggle, I would say, is just feeling really like lonely.
Does anyone else feel that way? Like, give a little hand raise if you, as a stay-at-home mom, like, you struggle with loneliness. Because my first year with Autumn, that winter was so lonely. And I definitely, and then I think I had, like, baby blues, and I was, like, really, really lonely. And that's why remember I reached out to all you guys to do, let's do a mom. Yeah, I made, like, a rock moms thing. I was, like, so desperate for a friend.
Yeah, I remember the first time that we all got together, it was like 6 of us maybe.
Yeah.
With, all of our teeny tiny little humans, and I know Charlie was...
He was little.
I think it was March, because it was right before Jackie went back to work.
Okay.
And
I think I remember you there going to talk about, like, you having to go back.
Yeah, because I had been back for a little while. Yep. Yeah. But it's just hard. Like, it's hard to be at home by yourself, and you're at work all day long, obviously, because work is at home. Like, that is work. But
there's no adult interaction.
Exactly. And you're like on active duty the whole time. You're not just on call kind of thing. Like, maybe you're on call all the time and you have a pager for work.
There's no quiet downtime for you.
No. It's you're actively momming or parenting if you're, maybe you're a stay-at-home dad. But you're actively parenting 17, 18 hours a day. And then when they don't sleep, like, it's up to, 21, 22 hours a day, just kind of broken up funny. And so there's being lonely, and then there's losing the, the ability to make a time to do what makes you as a person happy. Mm-hmm. Not just you as, like, giving mom a chance to chill. No, it's what makes Kristen happy. What does Amanda like to do? And not just, well, mom needs a break. Let her go and, hang with her friends. Like, yeah, that's good too. But, like, I'm a very creative person. So I, like, the craft things. Like, Vince has made fun of me before he goes, I can tell when you're into something because just, like, I guess my facial expression changes. And
you're lit up.
Yeah. So you can see, like, my focus is on one thing. And you can't, even if you had the time and, this is the project I want to do, and you've got all your plans laid out for what project, and that's not how I function anyways. So even if you have the time to do that kind of thing, you're probably still at home, so you're still hearing the kids doing something, or, Dad's like, I got it, go do your thing, and Dad does things differently than Mom does things. So when you hear it, even though there's no reason for you to not be okay with how it's going on, it's still not the way you do it during the day when Dad's at work. Or, obviously the other way, but...
I think that's a big adjustment,
it's really
too,
hard
for stay-at-home moms, is learning the co-parent, because I think it's natural that as the spouse who's working, because that's a trade-off for a lot of us, right? The spouse is working and we're home, mm-hmm. that... Well, you just have it. You do it all the time, so, like, you can figure out, and it's a lot more onus on the mom to always be parenting. There's never, like, an off button. Like,
right.
If you go out, you have everything set up for the dad, right? And figured out,
right.
And, like, laid out, because there's no turning your brain off. And I think that's probably most moms, but from friends I've spoken to, it's even more heavy on, like, Lee's never had both of the girls all day by himself.
Yeah. I mean, I think...
Like, I can remember, I don't think he's ever had both of them all day by himself.
I know Vince
It's been like a chunk, like 3 hours at most.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, it's hard. It's hard to realize, like, yeah, you are mom all day long, and you are the for all intents and purposes, like, you are the lead parent in a sense.
Yeah.
But when Dad comes home or your partner comes home, like, they're also the lead parent. It's just, now it's co-parenting time. It's not just mom time. So I think that was hard too. It was hard to, to remember that just because I do it one way during the day doesn't mean it's wrong that Dad does it another way when he gets home. So
yeah, who's been guilty of that, right? Because you're so used to doing it your way that you want to correct your spouse then all the time too, and then they feel undermined.
Right,
you're
and
demeaning
you have to be
them.
careful, because why would you want to hurt the feelings of the person who, like, you're doing this with? Like,
they're helping you.
Exactly. So it's a really fragile balance. Yeah.
We have some good people saying things. Missy used to work full time during the day, and now she stays at home. wonder why you can't read the whole comment. And then Danny says, I do all the chores and housework during the week. And then you probably get up during the night. I'm the get up person at night because Lee goes to work. And because I'm breastfeeding, so it's easy. Yeah.
Right now, Leo has finally gone back to, because we've had a couple like ups and downs with Leo in his sleep, but he's finally gone back to, he at least most of the time waits till like 5 to wake up. And for a while...
That makes a huge difference.
And for a while it was, you know, he'd wake up at 5 and want to eat. So obviously, like, that's me. Whether I got up with him or Vince woke me up to go and, you know, trade spots kind of thing. Because sometimes Leo would just go back to sleep. But, yeah, it's a whole different ballgame when you're breastfeeding, that whether you're the one waking up to them crying or being woken up, like, you're still the one... You're the one that has to stay up. Yeah. So
you're the one that has to stay up. That's exactly it. I try to get out a couple times a week depending on what's going on.
Yeah, that's something I'm super struggling with right now. I don't know about you, but number one, because we have one car, we've had like ups and downs trying to fix Vince's car.
Yeah.
And so right now he's taking my car to work. So on the days that I don't have my
literally
niece,
abandoned.
I'm stuck at home, So the days that I don't have my niece, which makes me kind of stuck at home anyways, because she's now in like a normal car seat versus a baby car seat that I could put in my car because, you know, that's easy to leave. But nobody wants to pull out an actual car seat and look it in every single day on the off chance that I want to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So on the days that I don't have her, I'm like right now, since just before Christmas, like I've been stuck at home. So that's, you know, it's difficult even just to go and run to the grocery store that you want to do now after nap.
That can sometimes break up the day even and make such a difference. I've known when Autumn's getting stir crazy or any kid's getting stir crazy, sometimes a change of scenery
just to run an errand real quick is
adjusts.
And an errand it locks them in place. They might scream and cry the whole time, but they're locked in place. They can't.
And that's 2 hours out of your day that you have like, something to do.
Exactly.
And that's a hard thing too, is I think being set on, you want flexibility with kids, right? But you also want some set routine for expectations. Otherwise, I feel like, I know for me, I'm a better version of a mom when I have like a set thing to do versus it's a jammy day. Yeah. I don't know what.
Not that those days aren't great.
No, we all need those.
Right, absolutely. You need the letdown day. But yeah, it's a good thing to have, like, okay, I know breakfast is at 8. Mm-hmm. And whether it's 10 to 8 or 8:15, you know, is neither here nor there. It's, okay, I know this is breakfast time. Yeah. We do breakfast, and then Leo goes down for a nap, and then you do what it comes next. So it's, I know for me it took a while to build some sort of routine. But now that I have it, it's like I cling to it because I know, well, at 8 it's breakfast, like that's what we're doing at breakfast time. And so
a really bad habit I'm in, and I don't know if other stay-at-home moms do this, but every week, and it doesn't have to be a week, I don't know, I'm one of those people that's like, New Year's resolution. I don't know, I love like the beginning of, like, I can't do it until it's the beginning of the week when you really can do it any day. Yeah. But I always say I'm going to get up before the kids do. I'm not going to let them be my alarm clock. I'm going to seize the day before them and get ready before them. And I have yet to do it. And I think that would make a huge difference because I get ready in stages through the day. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, I do a shower when Morgan goes down for a nap and I put a cartoon on for Autumn. And I do makeup while they're eating lunch. And, like, it's this slow process.
Yeah, so it takes you 4 hours to get ready for the day. Yeah. And by the time it's 4 o'clock, you're like, oh, okay. Yeah. Now I look nice making dinner.
Yeah, it's exactly it.
If you get the chance to make dinner, which that's one of my issues. That's, like, I think that's our biggest struggle at the evening is that, like, if you don't have dinner, at least an idea of what to do for dinner in your head, all of a sudden it's 6 o'clock and it's 6:45 and you're like, crap. Yeah. We didn't eat dinner yet. And, like, the kids have to go to bed at some point. So, I know that's one of my nighttime struggles. But it's, you know, it's hard. I know I go upstairs and, like, quick throw clothes on at, I don't know, like 9 o'clock or 9:30 when I put Leo down without showering. And then later I'll go and shower. And then you put new clothes on because you decided you don't want to wear those anymore. But, yeah, it's like a game.
It's literally a game. And I envy people who are like those meal preppers. I have a lot of friends who are into Beachbody right now, and they're so good about prepping their meals for the week. And I'm bad at cooking. I just am. I'm not very creative. Lee's like the guy in the kitchen. And good, like own it. And bless my heart, I try. But, and we've come to a point that he'll be like very candid whether or not, like I know it's good when Lee saves everything, like literally everything. And I know it's a really bad meal when I'm like, oh, we got to get containers out. He's like, that's okay. You can just throw it out.
Oops.
This man doesn't throw out anything.
That's how Vince is.
Yeah.
Well, but like Vince will go that much farther and he'll eat it just because. Well, I don't want to throw it out. Okay, but you don't have to eat it if it was terrible.
Yeah. Oh,
but yeah. Like, so otherwise, I know that. Yeah.
You know what I mean by that. So that's when I know it was like a train wreck of a meal. But I agree. I'm so much more like I have to have in my head the night before how I'm going to tackle a meal. Otherwise, I'm in the same boat. Does anyone else do that? Like you're just kind of struggling and figuring out what to do, like how to get ready.
Yeah.
I decided to stay home. Wait, these are so like not.
Yeah. See, this is what I was talking about. They get all silly.
One thing that helped me was when I get dressed and will make my bed daily.
You know, my mom has told me I cannot even like.
Agreed,
I cannot
Danny.
even tell you how many times she has told me, Kristen, make your bed. Just make your bed. Do it right when you get out of bed or an hour after. Make your bed.
It makes the whole room look nicer.
She's not wrong. She's not wrong. Yeah, making your bed is a great start to the day, a great middle of the day,
depending on when you do it.
Yeah.
But even like just to get in like and this is a thing too that makes such a difference with my morning. If I don't clean the kitchen the night before, I just feel like that sets your whole tone. If I come to like a crap kitchen, I just feel like, I have to like clean all of this up, unstack the dishwasher as I'm trying to make breakfast. Like, I love a clean kitchen in the morning. It like makes my soul happy to the core.
That's how mine is slowly shifting from that to like having a clear like kitchen table to the playroom floor is like vacuumed and picked up, and the living room, like I can see the coffee table, and the couch doesn't have junk on it. Like there's no shirts, there's no toys, there's no laundry baskets. Like the couch is clear. So I'm shifting away from the kitchen being my like stabilizing like good morning point, and more to like the play areas
because that's probably where the kids are.
Right,
and like
you can plunk them. Yeah, you don't have to fight for a spot for them to play. Whereas like you can do that and kind of screw around in the kitchen for a minute and clear things. But if the kids don't have something to do,
that's when you're struggling because they're on you.
Right.
And I feel like they sense when you don't have like your stuff together.
Yeah.
I feel like they're more hangy on you.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know why. Because that's when you need your space. And I've had moments where I'm like, what day was it? Tuesday night. I think our daughter Morgan, who's 10 months old, is like randomly allergic to Johnson & Johnson's now. Like all of a sudden, and so she broke out in her like awful hives.
Aww.
Thought she was like had fifth disease, like nothing. She was cleared at the pediatrician.
Jeez.
But I slept because I didn't realize she was so itchy that night, and she had broke out in these hives. And I slept like 0 on Tuesday. So Wednesday morning, I had like 3 hours of broken sleep total.
Nice.
And you know how that like feels.
That's so phase we're in right now is terrible sleep.
And it like literally affects everything.
It's awful.
Awful.
It was like so bad the other day that like my mom came to our rescue and said, just bring the boys over here. Bring the boys over here. This was, we were already past bedtime. Bring the boys over here and they can just stay here for the night. And she kept them till like noon the next day.
It's just so you could sleep and function again.
Yeah, this was, oh my God, it was this week. It was like Monday or Tuesday. I can't even remember the days.
And that probably made you feel so much like you could handle life again.
Yeah, I needed a break. I needed to be in, so it's different. Like, I don't want just Vince to take the boys and me to just not have to do anything. La, la, la. I needed everyone, I said it before, I need everyone out of my house. Like, I need hours in my house so I can sort my thoughts and do something and, run a load of wash and not care if I didn't do it right away. But, like, I needed everyone out. So, yeah, it was great. It was a lot of help. It did a lot of good for me. So, and it was the first time that I was away from Leo overnight, and it was only the second time for Charlie. Like the first time when Leo was born, and that was so.
And I think this is a problem sometimes of stay-at-home moms, because you're around them all the time, and it's like this weird mix of I can never leave my kid, and also you do need a break though, to just have a breath, and to remember you're just Kristen, you're not just a mom all the time.
Yeah, or even just like, hey, you know, we're married, we're not just parents, like
we're not roommates,
right? We like each other a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's different having you know, the day or the night without the kids around at home is different than having like a date night out. Yeah, it's a totally different thing. Like, it was just ridiculous. We were absolutely exhausted, and we were still up the same ridiculous hours as we normally are with the kids, but we sat each on a laptop in the kitchen at the table doing things and watching ridiculous shows and wearing pajamas. And Vince made fun of me because I was like pulling goldfish out of the box, and he looked at me and goes, you are like Charlie right now, looking at me like stealing goldfish. So we just had like a genuinely exhausted, but just a genuinely good time. So it was really nice. It was exactly what we needed. Vince goes, I think we need this like once a month.
Yeah.
And he's not off base. Like, it's not. It'll be nice.
I think that happens a lot. For those of you that are just kind of tuning in.
Can you borrow my mom? No, she's mine.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. Is remembering that your spouse and you aren't enemies. And I think I was in this pattern for a while, that I went into the day thinking, and approached my husband like, my day was harder than yours. You don't even know about my, like, and I think that's such a dirty trap to get into, because your spouse becomes your arch nemesis, like, as opposed to your sidekick.
Yeah.
That's such a superhero, like, cliche.
That's
but
okay. That's okay. It'll make the dads all feel good. Like, yeah, superheroes.
Did you ever do that?
Oh, I hope not. I try really hard not to, because I just try really hard not to. But I know, like, Vince, all the time, he'll come home and complain about something, and then he'll say, but I know I have nothing to even complain about. Like, he'll belittle his own exhaustion or his own frustration, and like, I tell him, you're allowed to be frustrated, you're allowed to be exhaused.
Yeah.
You still work all day. It's just a different work. Like, you sit in an office all day. There's a different like, I know the fighting to stay awake, trying to write a lesson plan. I know fighting to stay awake while you're trying to
keep humans
correct
alive.
Homework or something.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's trying to stay awake while you're trying to put kids to sleep who won't sleep. So you're sitting with them and crumbling just into complete exhaustion. But it doesn't mean that dad's at work struggles aren't as difficult, and he's not as exhausted or frustrated. So I think
no, and I'm sure it's got to be hard too as a dad when they come home and they see, they want to like reconnect with you, and they see you crabby, you're still in your pajamas, your hair's like all on top, like greasy, whether you've dry shampooed or not, who knows?
Exactly.
And you're just like, it's been a day. That's when poor Lee knows.
I say that too often. Like,
it's just been a day.
The kids are alive. I tell him, like, the kids are alive. Yeah. We're all alive.
And then he knows. But like, I don't want to approach it that way. I don't want
them to have to like tread lightly in their own house. But
no.
Like, you do need a little bit of like grace for a few minutes. Like, just this is home for you. Yeah, come home. But know that this is also work and home for me. So, like, just give me a couple minutes. Let me come down off of my crazy person spot, and then
so I can be a human to you.
Right, and then we can go back to like, okay, how was your day? I've got my commute is done. Like, you know how you get it out when you're coming home from teaching. You you get it all out. You listen to whatever your crazy get it out song is, kind of thing, and you're good. And you go home. That's a really
good point.
And so, like, as a stay-at-home parent, you don't have that. So, I don't know, it's just, like, it's nice. It's why sometimes it's hard when, I was telling you before that, Vince we're so tired that it's hard, as a morning person, it's hard for him to get up in the morning early enough to go into the office early enough, or as early as he would like, that he doesn't get there till almost 9, which means he has to work till at least 5:30 on a regular basis. And, I mean, that doesn't sound terrible, but 5:30 is an earlier end of normal. He oftentimes doesn't leave work till 6.
Yeah.
Which means 6:20, 6:30 before he's home, and that's if he doesn't have to stop at, like, Wegmans or something.
And that's late.
Right. So it's why it can be difficult when that's an hour and a half before bedtime. And not only do you want them to be able to have an evening with the kids and eat dinner and everything, but you're like, I need to come home from work too, and just give me a minute. And, you know, the 5 minutes that I tell you I need really isn't enough. It's like, I kind of need more like 26 minutes.
No, it's true.
Yeah, so it's, I don't know. It's not an easy balance being the working parent and the at-home parent. I think it's one of the more difficult pieces of being a stay-home mom.
Yeah. That's a really good point, Kristen, because at least when you're both coming from the working world, you're both at least have similar days and struggles about being away. You're alternating pickup from daycare, alternating dinner responsibilities, and I think that's a very good point.
And I know for me...
Two different worlds, and I think it's very easy to feel underappreciated or not seen. We talked about this with Mandy Friend in one of our shows about with your spouse, the 5 love languages and knowing how you need love. And one of mine is words of affirmation. And Lee, if you're watching, like, you'll totally admit to this. He's like his personality's wired to be critical. Not because he's a mean person, but he has a perfectionist side to him.
Knowing when something needs to be fixed or something.
Right.
Gotcha.
So for me, I'm sensitive and, like, words of affirmation are important. So if I've done my day, and this is why I loved teaching so much of getting the evaluation, and you're built up and being told, like, you're good enough, like, you're on the right track, I appreciate you, all of these things. And you do, like, you're cleaning the house, and the meals made, and the kids are clean, like, small things, and I brushed my hair. I mean, there's small rewards, small victories. And if I wasn't, like, if he wasn't coming home and, like, recognizing all of these things, it was like I failed my performance evaluation.
Yeah, like you'd never even done it, almost.
Yeah, and you don't feel seen. And again, if I was working, and I wouldn't require that so much from him. And I had a lot of times where I would, like, break down and say, Lee, I know this isn't fair to you, but you're my evaluation.
Right. You're the only person who can notice this.
Who can notice this, and I really need you to notice this. So I can,
just like occasionally.
Yeah, so I can feel valued.
Yeah, that's not easy.
No, not at all. Bethany says she went to Cheesecake Factory by herself at 8 p.m. the other night after the kids were in bed and Justin was home.
Nice.
That's wonderful. Did you just, like, go to the bar and have a drink?
I would have been sitting eating cheesecake. I would have been sitting eating cheesecake.
Yeah, just staring at, like,
I'd rather spend my $9 or $12, whatever it is. It's probably more than that. I'm probably way lowballing it.
Yeah.
But I'd rather spend that money on cheesecake than like wine or something. That would definitely be, I'd be eating cheesecake.
And just to people watch.
Yeah. Huh.
Danny says yes, when her husband is done working, bedtime flies by in between dinner prep, dinner, bath time, stories, bed.
Yeah.
It's like a mad rush to get it all done.
And all of a sudden it's 9:15.
It's 9:15,
and
then
you're not done with the day yet. Hold
on.
Yeah.
A big thing I've been adjusting is Lee's love language is quality time. So after the kids are in bed, I want to do my, like, crazy mom sweep, right?
Yeah, let me run circles first. Hold on.
And get everything, like, cleaned. And I'm a cleaner. I'm not a good sitter. I'm like a hyper little dog. I have to move. Can you tell? Yeah, I'm, like, very spazzy. And he'll say, like, come sit, like, watch Friends with me. Let's have a beer. Chill out. Just stop moving. And that's made a big difference of just hanging out together.
Good. That's good.
My kitchen doesn't get clean.
Yeah, but you know what?
But we like each other again.
Yeah, I think Vince and I have never, and, like, we've talked about this a couple times, and when we got married, I think we talked about it, like, in our our pre-Cana thing, like, oh, the 5 love languages, because it's not foreign to me.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I could tell you specifically, like, what mine is, but it sounds very familiar with Vince. Like, he likes to just sit on the couch and just hang out. And not that I don't either. But I don't know. I think I could fit in a lot of the different pieces, but I think the days that I make sure that I, like, actively do something that makes Vince feel good, or, you know, spend time with him and put my phone down, I know.
You notice a difference with him, don't
like,
you?
that'll be the night, you know, he'll wake up in the morning and he'll, like, have loaded the dishwasher and unloaded it and then loaded it, and, like, the table's clear and, like, the sink is clear. And that's not foreign for him to do either. Like, he just does that. He's a very considerate person. And he will stress himself over his own stuff in order to get something done for someone else. He always does for anyone, for, like, forever.
That's really sweet.
Yeah, but, like, I think, like any of us would do, on the days where we're given a little extra attention that's devoted to us and what we need, we feel a little bit more compassionate towards other people. Like, we're then going to turn around and, you know, like, sharing the love kind of thing, like, pass it on. So, I don't know, it's, and I think, like, just saying thank you. It's one of the things that I think
so important.
Yeah, I think Vince and I have been really good since we've met each other, which is, like, 9 years. I think 8 or 9 since we've been together. Not married necessarily, but, like, I don't know. I don't feel like doing the math right now. It's 8 or 9 years. It's one of those. But I think the whole time we've been together, that was, like, just saying thank you for, maybe I expected you to do that for me, but you still did. And it's important, I think, to keep your spouse or your partner built up, knowing that you're going to get to a point where you need them to kind of, like, catch you and save you. And just because a day is hard, or a week is hard, or a month is really hard, and you need that extra little something they have in them that you don't have, because you're home all day doing X, Y, and Z, and it's different, and they have, you know, at least you assume, you know, based on what you do, interacted with people all day long, where they come home. I know Vince comes home, and half the time I don't even know what to talk about. Like, I don't want to talk about the kids 24/7.
Yeah.
They're great, and I love to talk about them, but I don't want to go to dinner on the weird, odd occasion that we go out to dinner and talk about the kids. We do, because what else are we going to talk about? Because most days lately I don't even watch the news, because Netflix takes precedence.
I know.
But, like, I don't even know what to talk about these days. So.
And I think that's a really good point, too.
Like, it's not fighting for, I just want to have a conversation. Like, you know, you talk to adults, you talk to your parents, you talk to your husband, like, you know, your best friend, sister, whatever. You talk to adults, but, you know, it's, hey, I need advice, or what do you think about, you know, for Leo's birthday, or, you know, I was talking to my mom about, like, chores and a reward system for Charlie and everything today, and it's like, you talk to adults, but talking about your kids is not the same thing as having an adult conversation. And, I don't know, it's just hard. It's hard to not do that for days and weeks, potentially, on end. So to have somebody come home who has that, assumedly, you know, a couple times a day it's like, just, like, talk to me for me. Just talk to me. Just tell me things. And
tell me about your day. Who did you see?
Right.
I know.
Right. What's going on? No, I didn't hear about that new thing going on, you know.
A big thing I've noticed in an adjustment, and I think this is more personal, is I'm really excited about this whole MomSimply thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been reading a lot of, like, business books.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and this has nothing to do with, you know, everyone needs to...
I love this show so much. You guys make me feel so normal now. Aw.
Good. That's awesome, Missy.
That's exactly the point of what Amanda's trying to do.
Yeah, this is exactly it. Feeling like you're...
Right, just pretend we're all, like, sitting on the couch in the same living room.
Yeah, that's kind of my goal. Attic/guest room. By the way, I hope you don't feel creepy that there's a bed behind us. I feel like every time I have a friend, I'm like, hello, welcome to my show. But I think with your spouse, because I think that's true, is when you've been together for so long and you're with the kids all day and they're in the same job, and unless it's like a job that varies day to day, there's not new content all of the time, right? Mm-hmm. And I think self-continuation in terms of work, reading, not reading a fiction, but reading something nonfiction that's enlightening, that you can share and talk about. Maybe you and your spouse read the same book together and you guys can talk about it. You're reading it at different times or listening to a podcast. Yeah. But Lee and I have been he introduced me to Gary Vaynerchuk, which anyone who doesn't know, he's a very big social media presence and is really about self-improvement. So Lee, it's been so nice to, and by the way, everyone calm down. This is since January 1st. I'm not new onto this. This is very new for me. But I've noticed a change in our dynamic with that, we have something new to bring to the table.
Yeah, you have something to talk about.
We have something to talk about. And it's I'm learning about him again, and he's learning about things that I'm learning about.
Yeah, it's going back to
dating a little bit.
Right. Yeah. That, hey, well, what's, if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you want to go? Or, what's your favorite, it's finding out stuff about them again. And,
yeah.
Oh, I'd forgotten about that about you, and yeah, it's cool. We've tried to restart it a couple of times in the last, probably last year and a half or so, and it just didn't stick somehow. But so Vince's parents live down in the southern tier, so it's a 2-hour ride. So when we go down there, we used to, instead of me sitting on my phone scrolling Pinterest or something while he's driving, we used to, we'd have beef jerky and Mountain Dew, and that was our road trip tradition. It started when we were traveling from Rochester down to, Elmira area on Christmas Eve, after Christmas Eve with my mom and sisters, to go down to spend Christmas Day with his little brothers and family and everything down there. In the tiny wee hours of the mornings, we'd have beef jerky, just something to snack on, and Mountain Dew so we didn't crumble and just crash in the car.
Yeah.
But so we had that, but then we started. We bought the Steve Colbert book, and we read that.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I didn't realize we never finished reading the second book that he did. So Vince threw it in the car a couple months ago, and we just didn't end up. I think we just got distracted with the kids or something. But so we used to do that, and it's in a different way. Doing funny things is. I didn't realize you'd think that was funny.
Yeah.
Or, oh my gosh, I never, that's hysterical. Just, it's good to just laugh together too, so.
And you have to in this season of life.
Yeah, because you do a lot of yelling, a lot of, sighing, a lot of grumbling during the day, and a lot of smiling and laughing too, but it's mom laughing. It's not, deep, genuine, just human. That was an ugly laugh kind of laugh, and.
Yeah. This just happened the other night. Autumn, I might have been doing this. And so, I think Lee was in charge of bedtime because I was somewhere doing this, I think. And Autumn had fallen asleep on the couch, and he's like, you have to change her. I didn't put her pull-up on. So I was like, okay. So I put her pull-up on while she's sleeping. And it's very important that pull-up is put on straight. And so she always, comes into our room in the middle of the night. So she had, wandered into our room, and Lee woke up, and he's like, ugh. And I'm like, what? He's like, Autumn peed. You want to know tired? Tired is not changing the sheet so your child has peed next to your head and continuing to sleep, and you just kind of
just
put a new pull-up on, and then, wait for it, forgot about it, and slept in the same dirty sheets last night.
Whoops.
Oops.
Yeah.
And then while we're sleeping, I'm like, I didn't change the sheets. And he's like, nope. And I'm like, we're sleeping in pee again, aren't we? And he's like, yep. And guess what? That's what we did. We slept in pee sheets again. They're clean today. I cleaned them today. But laughing at those moments. That you're that
actually
tired.
Reminds me that and it's not anything pee related, but we went to bed nearly with no sheets on the bed because I was super on top of things. Oh, after my mom had the boys, I had a brain. I'm like, I'm gonna do things. I'm gonna wash the sheets. We're gonna have the sheets back on the bed, and we're just gonna go with it because it's relentless. I throw the sheets in the wash and
goodbye. Yeah.
Bye. Completely forget because everything's downstairs, and unless I go down to do the laundry in the
Ours is in the basement,
like,
too.
Nothing else is down there for the kids to do, so it's just laundry if I go down there during the day. If I don't go down there, I forget that they're down there, and
then they get that weird smell, so you have to wash them again. Yeah. I do that a lot, too.
And it's, 11:30, midnight when you're going to bed. Who wants to put sheets on the bed then?
Yeah.
Well, Vince does, because he's not sleeping in a naked bed, but yeah, so it just made me think of that.
When
Comical mom things.
So since you've been in this season for a while,
Mm-hmm.
we're talking about being a stay-at-home mom. What's a big thing that, say someone's thinking about being a stay-at-home mom, or maybe they've been a stay-at-home mom, and, I think we all get in similar ruts and we have similar issues. What's been, like, the biggest takeaway or something you've learned that you think, okay, this is what I want to start doing more because this has been working?
Like, advice as a stay-at-home mom thing? Oh, geez. Something that I've learned in the last, I think, like, since November, I just had this almost overnight shift in just in the way I'm thinking, that it's hard to put yourself first. You did a video a while ago, a couple weeks ago, like the water and, like, you have to pour into yourself. It's that. Like, you can't. It's okay to buy yourself a new pair of jeans. It's okay to buy new clothes that make you feel happy. It's okay to buy the book that you've been craving to read because you've read every book of the series up until now, and the new one came out and it's $50 or whatever, and, like, it's okay to do that.
Yeah.
Within your financial limits. Like, it's okay to prioritize something that you need as a person to be a happy person, because you can't be a happy mom if you're not a happy person. If you don't, like, feel good about yourself, if you don't enjoy what you're doing day in and day out, like, it's the same thing with teaching. You don't go into teaching for the money.
Right.
Maybe for the vacation time, but not for the money. And if you don't love it day in, day out, at least most of the time, then it's silly to do it. And if you can't, it's not difficult to get into this, like, rut of these days suck as a stay-at-home mom. It's easy to forget that you really enjoy life, like, that you're a happy person. So, I don't know, I just think, like, it's important to remember that it's okay to, like, be important to yourself. And for you to need something, it's okay to go buy a new freaking bra at the end of a year of breastfeeding, or at the end of 4 months of breastfeeding, because by the time you get to that point, you're in, like, okay, you're stepping down to stage 2. It is okay to buy a new bra. Because you're not
filling it out anymore, and you need to feel normal in the clothes
and because
you're
you
wearing.
probably need, like, the $60, $70, $80 bras at that point, because, hello, like, your boobs are ridiculous, but this is what, next week?
Yeah.
Yeah. They
don't stay in the same place they used to. I know.
Yeah. I bought a couple of bras the last couple of months that, like, I love them, they're great, but I still keep going back now that, like, I can wear my favorite one from before Leo again.
And it makes a big difference for how you feel, ladies, when you have a good bra versus not a good bra.
Stop it.
And show it to your show it to your husband then, girls. Yeah, buy the sexy bra. Feel sexy still. That's been, like, a big thing for me is, and this is more breastfeedy, but, thinking of, I'm a mom now, and, feeling like I need to dress more modest. Not because I am super modest, but I think of, like, a lot of clothes I buy, I think of it's not because I like them for fashion and I want to be creative. I do it for function. It's my uniform. Like a shirt like this, like I never bought t-shirts or wore t-shirts. And I think I have to remind myself, I still need to be able to have those things. I'm not going to wear them at home, but I need to be able to.
Yeah.
Like
you might only go out once a. Oh, it's just being funny. Well, you might only go out once a month. And it's, like, out to your sister's birthday party or something. But, you still...
You want to feel attractive still.
Yeah, you still, like, want somebody to just, like, look at you and think, oh, you look cute today. And not just cute, like, mom
hair
cute, but,
yesterday.
Like, cute. Yeah.
Like, that's a great hair... It was a man. That's a great haircut. I felt so bomb.
That's awesome.
So great.
Right.
Because it's nice to be seen and to invest in yourself sometimes.
Yeah. This was, I think I completely, to be honest, Vince, I don't think I ever remembered to tell you this. Because why remember everything? It's just, there's too much to remember.
There's too much.
But I went to, on Sundays I go to our church and I help out with youth group. So I went to youth group, it was like early January, I think. And, had like gotten dressed that day. I think I was wearing like a short dress with jeans, kind of like, it was like a cute, let me just be cute today.
Yeah.
And I walked in and I had my scarf on, my coat on and everything. And I hadn't even gotten ready for the evening, and this woman who was there talking to the youth leader was like, well, aren't you gorgeous? Like, you walk into a youth group with a bunch of teenagers, and that is not what you expect. Yeah, like, that is not. That's so, I just, like, I think my mouth turned off. Because you just, like, you don't know.
That's amazing,
what,
Kristen.
Right.
Cheers to that.
Yeah. So that was a good night. But, so it's okay to, like, dress cute. See, now he's just being cute.
And to remember that you're important. And I think for me, a big thing I found is don't stop working on yourself. I think it's very easy to, I'm a mom now and this is my season. And it's not to love those things and not to own it, because it is such a short period of time. But that doesn't mean your needs turn off and your dreams and what your heart desires turns off either. Like, continue working toward that and connecting with your spouse, going on. I mean, when you're staying at home, finances are adjusted. And that's a different world.
Right. That's a whole different.
It's a whole different world. But it's not that you have to go on these fancy dinner dates. It's like Kristen said, hang out. Have the kids go to grandma and grandpa's or friends for, like, it's okay to have a break from your kids and to work on you two and remember, oh, you're my best friend and that's why I married you and you're really funny.
Right. Because I like you, kind of.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, I like you.
I like you.
Yeah, I like you. So, I don't know. I think it's just, it's about remembering that you are an adult who is now a mom, not you were an adult, you were a partner, a wife, a spouse, whatever, and now you're a mom. Like, you're all of those pieces.
Right.
You're still your single self.
Right.
You're a married self or a together self, whatever. But you're a mom too, but like you're also,
and to feed all of those.
Yeah, it's
feed
not
all of
easy.
those people.
And it doesn't mean that you have to do all of those every single day or every single week. Like, there are days that you have to just be mom.
Right.
And you don't get to, read a book. I can't remember the last time I finished a book. I've started how many books? I don't even know.
That's why podcast, Kristen, will become your best friend.
Yeah, I have discovered I do like listening to podcasts lately. But I need like a non-business one to think of. So I need a suggestion for a good, just enjoyable. But I think I lost my train of thought otherwise. Yeah. So you can't do all of those in one day or in a week, or like, it's just, you're going to have ups and downs of, I get a lot of time to be me this month. Maybe my kids like come down off of a crazy, he's gotten super independent and then he's come down. He's kind of like stabilized a little bit, and you've got an easy month.
Yeah.
Or it's the opposite, and you
need to
no
invest
time
in your
for
family.
yourself. Yeah. So it's good to at least acknowledge that you have to notice when you have time or when you need to make time for yourself.
And noticing that. And husbands that are watching, calling your wives out when she needs time and finding that time for each other and also for herself too, and kind of giving grace that, go have a girls' night because I got to have drinks at work. So, of course, like,
right.
Everyone can have pizza or sandwiches for dinner while you go have a mom time.
I will also say that it's good for dads to, this is something Vince is really terrible at right now, is like doing that for himself. I think it was like, Vince. Right, you need to too. I think it was, this sounds really weird, but like since Charlie was born that I found out just how much like his stress he relieved when he would go and work out. Because he like was super big into working out when I met him. And like, I just thought it was something he enjoyed. But then since Charlie was born, one day he's like, no, but like, that's how Like, that's how I, like, relieved my stress and everything. I didn't realize that. Well, I know somebody who needs to go and do that, so he just is happy, and, you know, it's like, it's important
take time for yourself, too, because when you're working and feeling like you're supporting the family, that's a whole other burden of stress that you're bearing.
Like, you can't take that on yourself, like, say, okay, I'm working every day so that my wife can stay home.
Right.
And then have to deal with coming home and just scraping her off the ceiling, or, you know, picking her up and, like, just go.
Yeah.
Lock yourself in the bathroom for a minute, or just, you know, you can't expect to, whether it's you putting all that pressure on yourself as a dad or not, like, you need your time too. And so I don't know. I guess it's like, I think it's important for moms to, you're not the only one who needs that. Your husband needs it too.
Amen to that. I think all the husbands out there are cheersing you right now.
As long as mine is. I guess that's the only important thing.
That's the important one.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everybody so much. I can't believe how quick these hours go by. They like are a blink.
Yeah.
But we love you, everybody, and tune in next week where we talk about boobs and breastfeeding. Mm-hmm. And guys,
all great stuff.
If you're watching, we're not going to be showing anything. My girl,
sexy boobs.
Not sexy boobs. This is like mama working milk and boobs. My girl Missy's going to be with us. Take care and have a great weekend. And sorry, but boo Patriots for the Super Bowl. Bye.